All right. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Impression Podcast. Your host, first time today, Ryan Harrison. And I would like to introduce our special guest, a close and good friend of mine, practically family. She's from Murrieta, California. And I would like to introduce songwriter and visionary Jehan Assria. Jehan, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Yeah, Brian, thank you for having me. It's a real honor to be able to just tell your story. So, yeah, it means a lot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get into today is the story and the origin and the topic of our episode, which is being your own creation. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But Jehan, I want to break down what got you into the music industry? Where did it all start? Where did this passion for music, songwriting, producing come from? And talk me a little bit through that for me.
Yeah, of course. So, growing up, I've always had like ideas come to my head, like song ideas. And I remember in second grade, I was in the talent show and I wrote my own song and I performed it. But like, what happened was I got bullied a lot because of my voice. So I got really insecure and I was like, you know what? No one's going to really take me seriously. So I kind of stopped for a little bit, but it wasn't until my senior year when it was like ready to like figure out what do you want to do with your life, like college or get a job and so on and so forth. And I was like, no, like I need to do music. So someone told me like you need to reach out to this vocalist or vocal coach, Gwen Sanborn. So I called her and I was like, hi, I'm ready to sing and I want to be a singer and pop star. And, she was so sweet. And she's like, yeah, like, come on in. And I did vocal lessons, but I would always give her ideas, like production ideas, songwriting ideas. And she's like, I need to take you to this producer and I want to see what you guys could do together. So I was introduced to Thomas Barceau, and he was the one that really taught me, the structure of a song. Because yes, I knew how to put ideas down, but I didn't know the structure yet. So he kind of gave me that professional recording experience, and I did my first song with him. Then what I did is I wanted to be in tune with music so much that I took internships at labels, and then, I was networking and trying to get in touch with many other people. I ended up doing like 3 songs professionally with him, and we released that. I went to college for business, and, that's when I was really at a crossroad with my life. I graduated, but I remember comparing myself to everybody because they were like, oh, like I already have a job lined up. I have an interview. And I'm thinking, okay, like, do I need to find a corporate job now too? Like, what am I going to do? And, I also want to bring up like mentally, I went into a huge depression. Not many people talk about this, okay? Because the music or being an entrepreneur, there's the highs and the really lows.
For sure.
So, I hit a huge depression. I remember, I graduated, but I didn't know what am I going to do? Like, am I going to get a corporate job like everybody else? Or am I going to just follow my dreams in music and continue working at a restaurant that I'm not happy at? And one of my professors, he's actually a really close friend of mine now, but he's my mentor too. I was trying to go to a music school, Musicians Institute, and I was in the process of doing the application. I got accepted, and I told him, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to a music school. And he's like, no. He said, you're not meant to be behind a desk, and you're not meant to go to school. You need a mentor. And he's like, go home, go on LinkedIn, and write producers in LA and say you want to get your foot in the door. So, I did just that. And the only one that responded was the one from Sony Music. His name is Cinematic, the producer. And I remember like he was like, what can I do for you? And I was like, I really want to get my foot in the door. And he's like, okay, let's have an hour meeting. And like, I want to see what you can, what you can do, what you can bring to the table. If anything, you get an hour of free advice. So what happened was, I ended up going. I went to that meeting. I didn't know what I was like going into because, I was going to LA meeting for someone that I didn't even know. And, I went to his studio and he walks in and he's like, how can I help you? And I was like intimidating. I was like, um, I really want to be like a songwriter and I feel like I need guidance and he was like, well, is your music good? I was like, yeah, like it's good. I had some releases in the past. Like I think it's good. He's like, no, like is it radio quality industry standards good? And I was like, yeah, it is. Okay. I thought I was at a level which I clearly wasn't. So he's like, let's go to the studio. So he plays my music. And I remember this like it was yesterday. He's like, it's okay. It's not like great, but it's okay. And he was like, you're here and you need to be here. So we were talking for a little bit and it almost was a meeting to where he gave me feedback and we go separate ways. But I knew like I needed to continue that relationship. So I was like, no, like let me say something. I said, Steve Jobs said, if you want to be the best, you have to work with the best people. So I'm working with you. And that like pivoted the entire meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then what happened was, we had songwriting sessions and he critiques every line that I wrote, every melody. And that really brought out like the songwriter that I'm meant to be. So, it's definitely a crazy experience. So yeah.
No. I like that.
There's my full story.
All right, we're done. No, you brought up some really good points that I want to be able to touch upon with our audience because I think they're important as entrepreneurs in different fields. You in the music industry, I work within health and fitness. But the idea that you said, like, you were blasting out emails left and right to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many emails did you think you sent out to producers, companies for your music over that period of time when you were like told that's what you needed to do?
I mean, I wrote honestly, I don't have the number, but I wrote quite a few producers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got one person to reply.
And the only person that has a backing with like a label.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones didn't really have like a backing. They were producers, but like they weren't signed to a major label. So that really shows how humble cinematic is,
Mm-hmm. So you would say like that experience, because I think a lot of people get so consumed by like trying to do the right thing or the best thing that they get caught up in that area and they kind of get stuck in it. Mm-hmm. And then they realize, and you've seen it too, you had one person, one opportunity, and it kind of, I would say, maybe jump-started you in that direction or kept you kind of focused on your career, focused on, hey, I can actually do this thing for a full-time opportunity. And that's where, and it might be right there, but that was kind of my next question is, when did it change from, hey, I like music or I love music, it's a cool hobby, I can, play this instrument or, sing in the shower, record a few songs, but where did it change from, hey, it's a hobby to shit, I can actually do this for a living, or hey, I want to do this for a living?
Mm-hmm. So the pivotal moment for me as like a songwriter was when I did a songwriting camp. And, at first, like everyone at that camp was already like cliques, like they were already like, grouped together. And when you're in a environment like that, you don't want to barge into anyone's vibe on songs they're already working with. So I remember I was like, okay, like I'll come up with something. Like I found a track, I wrote to it, and one of the guys that was in the camp, he's a rapper, PB. And I told him, I said, hey, I wrote this song. Your part starts at, I think, 1:29. Like write a rap to it. Mm-hmm. So I remember I presented the idea to Thomas, who was running the camp, and I was like, let me sing some background vocals, so when I perform it, like, it will be good, it will be great for everyone to like experience. And he's like, no, he's like, Jehan, if you sing this song, you're going to ruin it. And I was like, wow. And that's another thing too. My ego was in it. Like, I was like, no, I wrote the song. Like, I'm going to sing it. Like, I want to be the star. Right. And, you know, that actually really brought me down to earth. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And that's when he told me, he's like, you need to do what's best for the song, not what's best for you.
I like that.
So,
I like that.
We ended up calling this girl Ashley, and she came in and she performed the song with PB, and it won. It won the camp, and that's when I was like, wow, like it was me against so many other people, so many great talented people who like went to school for music and like, you know, like they had amazing songs, and holy crap, my song won. So I was like, wow, I could really do this for a living. I think I have what it takes. I just didn't have the right guidance at that time. And yeah.
No, I like that. I like that. I like this concept about just having that one opportunity and like making the most of it. And it sounds like you had that calling. You've always had it kind of underneath you, and it's always been there. And then a few of these experiences in your life kind of just kept pulling you towards it. And then like, you know, winning the song, I guess best song or best
songwriting camp.
Okay, songwriting camp. And being able to just be like, dang, like regardless of where people come from, what background they have in music, you know, who they know, you're over here and you just did what you needed to do, and it won it. So I love that, just being kind of like the underdog or being the person that maybe is counted out or is looked at maybe differently because you said like you're bullied for your voice, but none of that necessarily stopped you at all.
Yeah.
Right?
You really need to have thick skin in the music industry. Like you do. You need to, like, you, in my opinion, fight for your visions and fight for your dreams, because like, here's another instance. Okay. You recently saw my latest project, Machine. Okay. I released it as a songwriter and visionary. So I released it as the main artist, and I have a feature vocalist on it. Okay. So when I presented that you know concept to, I remember Cinematic, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna be the artist for the song, and it wasn't Machine at the time. It was actually Dark Shadow. I'm just saying that as an example.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
So he was telling me, he was like, Jehan, you know, it doesn't really work that way. Like, you're a songwriter, you're getting credit for the song. Like, that's just, you know, it doesn't make sense for you to be the artist. And I remember I was like, just give me a shot with Dark Shadow. Let me prove you wrong. Like, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me show you what's in here. So, you know, we recorded the song, and I brought in this vocalist, Salvo. She's phenomenal. And we recorded it. Then came the music video. I'm the type that wants to give an experience to the audience. I just don't want to give you guys a song to listen to, okay? So we did the music video. It was a good me versus a bad me. I always had that in my head, but I didn't have the song yet. Then I wrote Dark Shadow. And I remember he saw the video, and he's like, okay. He's like, you are an artist. You're a visionary. So it was just a matter of me saying like, no, like just give me a shot here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And, you know, that's when it really like, that when I released that song, that's when people were like, okay, I get it. Like, I got you now. Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say like, you need to have thick skin. It's great to take feedback. It's amazing. Like, be open to learning. But, you know, at some point, you don't want to be overpowered to where it's just like their ideas. You kind of want to, you know, and I'm not saying Cinematic did that. He loved my ideas and such, but I'm saying in general, you want to fight for some of your ideas as well, or else it will go in another direction. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, sometimes it's just about like really, really speaking out for your dreams and making it happen.
I like that, sticking up for yourself and going after what you want. Now, It kind of leads us into the question I wanted to ask, and you touched upon it a little bit. Um, in the music industry, there's this idea that it's very difficult to, quote unquote, make it, like make it big. A lot of people write music, but can you get to the level where you're producing it at, a point where your songs are on the radio or your YouTube channel is blowing up? What are some of the adversities that you've dealt with in the music industry, whether that be financially, personally, mentally, maybe even physically, that has gotten you to this point, and how did you overcome some of those situations or some of those obstacles that you've faced along your career as an artist, as a producer, as a songwriter?
Well, first of all, let me point out that being an entrepreneur or like going after like the music industry, you're always gonna have battles. You're
Mhm.
always gonna have things to like overcome. But honestly, you have to be the one that believes in yourself so much that you're willing to like, you know, get rid of all the noise
Mhm.
that's like people telling you, you can't do that, you can't do that. Hey, that's just not how we do it in the industry. You need to be willing to challenge the status quo and do what it takes to make it happen. Like, I'll say right now, I think I spent like, for the machine project, I think I spent like around like 8 grand to make that happen. I'm
Mhm.
a server. I had to wash dishes. I had to bust tables. I don't know how many tables I had to take to make that happen. But you literally have to do what it takes to make your dreams happen, and don't put yourself on a high horse. Like, no, it's gonna come to me. No, you need to work and you need to make it happen. You need to make it come to, or you need to go after it. So that financially, it's tough.
Mhm.
Music, it's hard to make money unless like your song is a massive hit, unless like it goes viral on TikTok nowadays, unless you have a good licensing opportunity. It's really hard, and you're not going to see money for a while. So the way I see it with these projects, it's worth investing into that because I'm building a portfolio to where like I can show people like, hey, this is what I've done in the past. Like, I can press play and they're gonna take me seriously.
Mhm.
You know? They're gonna be like, oh, that's cool. Like, that hasn't really been done before. Like, that's dope. And that will start a conversation, that will open doors. So don't just think about it being a money factor, like, I'm gonna make money right now. No, that will come. But you need to realize like sometimes you have to go through dirty dishes and like serving tables and all these like people telling you don't do that, it's not really done, or um sometimes you just have to go through all that to and fight for it to really make it happen. And when I released it, like everyone was just happy and they were like, wow, like this is actually really good. And I was like, see, I told you.
See, no.
I told you.
It's yeah, I was actually at the release party, you know that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into the song into a little bit and provide our viewers just not a sneak peek at this point, but just a little trailer of it. But it was knowing you and then going to watch that and then hearing some of the parts you played earlier, but then actually getting to see it all together was like damn, like, and then being part of it too. I was in the music video. You're gonna see my arm in it or whatever, but uh, just putting it all together. A lot of people just don't understand. You just explained it perfectly. I can't even explain what you just explained, but you grow through what you go through, and I think
Oh,
that's
I
a
like that.
big point. Yeah, I was about to screw it up, but
No, I like that.
I said it right. But you had to serve, you had to wash dishes, you had to go through some of these difficulties to get you to where you are. And now that you are where you are and you want to continue to climb, which we'll go into later on your end goal and your vision, in the future, you have to go through some of those battles to appreciate how far you've come, to appreciate where you are right now. And then
Yeah.
seeing something like that come together and you're like, it was all worth it. No
Mhm.
matter the money, no matter the time, no matter the blood, sweat, tears you had to put in other, work or jobs. I it's cool to see it full circle and even talking about it after you've produced it. Yeah, no, it's a good feeling. I don't know where I was going with it, but it's all
No,
good.
it's cool.
So now Like you said, the song, I'll let you introduce it and all. The song is called Machine.
Yep.
Jehan just released it in October.
Yeah, October
Correct.
11th. It's on all streaming platforms. Music video is on YouTube.
Mhm.
And, you know.
All right. So, without further ado, what I like to do, if you want to play a part of it to our audience, you know, they be able to listen to it. I definitely like the vibe, and we'll get into it in a second of how you kind of put it all together and just the genres that you put together. I'll just stop talking. You go for it. You throw it on,
You want me to
and
play it?
yeah, go for it.
All right.
People say I lost my mind, trying to tell me it's a waste of time being with someone who feels nothing. Never fazed me with all the lies that ain't gonna change how I feel inside. No, I won't listen when they say she's like a mama, she's like a mama.
That's pretty cool. Now that is. We talked about this earlier, and if you've ever watched it, I don't really watch it, but people always tell me like, yo, that could be in Stranger Things. Like it's a combination between like the 80s, 90s vibe, but like the futuristic contemporary. I'm
With
no
modern touch.
exactly.
It's a
You could
modern
give me all
touch.
the cool definitions and behind the scenes. I'm no expert in music, choreography, production, whatever it may be, but get into a little bit about the vision behind it, which is kind of related towards our topic of being your own creation, being
Yeah.
accepting, not judging,
Mhm.
and all that good stuff, and kind of what you saw for it, what the goal is with it, and kind of how you came about the idea.
So, fun fact, it all started because in my head, I had like a little vision of me going like this to a scientist.
Okay.
And I was like, I had a moment, right? I was like, that's cool. Like, you know, I got Terminator vibes and all that. So that's when I explored the idea more. And I, you know, wrote the song and I presented it to Cinematic. And I wrote the song rewrote the song like 5 times. Okay. I presented it to Cinematic and he's like, Jehan, it's not there yet. Concept has been done millions of times. Like, it's not there yet. So like, I rewrote it again and again to where I was like, I think this is it. We have something. I took it to Lars, who, by the way, is a great friend and mentor of mine who is critically involved in my music journey, by the way. I took it to him and he's like, oh, okay, like this could work. And I said, yeah, it will be dope. Can you sing the demo? Because I need a male vocalist. It's meant for a male. And right away I was thinking Weekend, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
you know, I love how he just takes the time to like help me with my visions. He believes in me, like, you know, even from the start. Like he always like did his best. Like, how can we get you there? How can I get you? How can I get you? I can't think about it. How can I get you with a song, like with an artist? Like, I need to get you there. Like, that's my goal for you. So, you know, he heard it and then he even came up with like lyric ideas because some of the lyrics I had, it wasn't strong enough. And he was like, oh, like that. Like, just do this. And I was like, oh, dope, cool. So, you know, I had him sing my reference that I recorded and like, I presented that to Cinematic and he was like, okay, we have something here. And I was like, yep. And I said, here's my music video idea. I remember I explained the whole like vision to him. And I wanted to come in. Well, first of all, the song is about this girl who's misunderstood by people. And the singer is saying, I have your back. Like when people say you're like cold, like a machine, I have your back. I'm not going to let that faze me. I'm going to be there no matter what. Then for the music video, and especially with what we're going on with the world today, or what we're going through with the world today, which is sad, with discrimination, I was like, let me put a discrimination factor and make it about a scientist who brings a machine to life and it gets rejected by society. So I decided to go pursue that angle for the video. I wanted to go a little deeper with it. And then I remember I was getting an oil change, and my mechanic, I was telling him, and I was like, oh my God, you're gonna be the antagonist. And he's like, what? I was like, no, I need someone like you. You're built like I'm a machine. Like I need to push you, and you need to fall. So like it looks like there's no way a little girl like me could push this guy. That's where it shows that I'm the machine, right? So I was like, no, like I need you. P.S. Eric Johnson Sato, shout out.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little shout out.
And he's like, oh my gosh, I have an idea. Like, he loves riding bikes, and his friend owns Harley's custom motor shop, and he's like, we're gonna have bikers in it, and let's make it to where like the bikers are involved. And I was like, that's it. It's gonna be the bikers that are gonna I don't want to give out anything, but we involved the bikers into like that discrimination storyline, but I don't want to give away too much. But yes, like we brought that in, and it made the video like much more intense. And a friend of mine, Cami Storm, she's an actress, so I was like, hey, like how would you like to play the scientist? Like I would love to have a female scientist in a way. We don't really shine light on that, so I made it a female.
Okay,
or the scientist
a
female.
I like that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really how it came together. The director, Eric Bergamini, he is so good. He directed Dark Shadow too, by the way. He is just so good at like bringing my visions to life. Like, I remember I called him up, and he's like, okay, interesting. Like, let's see what we can do. And yeah, like we brought it to life, and now it's such a great feeling just watching the final product and like thinking, wow, like that was in my head at one point. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, that's incredible. I always am interested to hear kind of the story behind it, because I think whatever any of us are doing in life, we're always trying to tell a story. It could be music, it could be videography, it could be other health and fitness, whatever it may be. And just hearing kind of the story and the makeup of it, how it started in here. I mean, you hit it on the dot. I think a lot of the times it all starts up in here. It's a vision first. What we believe to be possible is actually possible, but it starts in our mind.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful that you mentioned that. And now one more thing before I ask my final question. You started talking about it, and it relates towards our topic about kind of being your own creation, being who you are, being able to accept. I remember when you were talking about the music video at your release party, like, and you gave that speech about being true to who you are and being genuine, like that moved me. Can you touch upon that a little bit for our viewers before we close out?
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, it was not it's been a really tough year. Okay. So my dad passed away 2 weeks before we had to shoot the music video. And I just remember like saying, wow, like I don't know what to do at this point. Like my entire family, like we just all kind of felt lost. And I remember just that turning point, like, no, like we need to bring this music video to life. And I went to the team and I said, we're dedicating this project to my dad. So I ended up going through shooting the video. It was tough, but we made it happen. So yeah, like that was a lot to really push through. And honestly, like mentally, it really does take a toll on you. It does. It was not an easy process to bring it to life. But that speech, like the whole point was my family's life changed in a second. And it's about how we react. Some people will completely go downhill, and some people will, stay strong and continue to move forward, because that's what my dad would have wanted me to do. And I wanted to spread that message that we have one life, and fighting for your dreams or whatever you want to do, it's just so important to just like make that happen, because it's just crazy. Like my dad was gone in a second, And that could happen to any of us. That could happen to me. That could happen to you.
For sure.
And when I do go, like, I want to be able to, I want to say, like, I made my dreams happen. I brought my visions to life. I have something to leave behind, a legacy to leave behind. And, you know, and just go from there. I hope that answered your question.
Nah, you answered it and then some. You're gonna make me cry on here. But now that I appreciate you sharing and opening with that, I think that that did some justice and just provided kind of a story behind the story of you keep giving me stories on the song, and I love that.
I'm a storyteller.
There you go. That's exactly what you're doing. But you keep hitting it on the dot, and I think it's something that we reiterate week after week after week is you only got one shot at this.
Yep.
You know, you had one opportunity, you took it. You can't take life for granted. You can't go out there and expect everything to be okay. You got to go after it. You got to go through some struggles. You got to go through hell and back to get to where you want to be, and recognize that right here, this is truly the only moment you have. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Everything can be gone just like that. So what are you going to do right now with your life?
Me?
No.
I thought you were asking another question.
All right.
I
had one more question. It was more rhetorical, just like a little like motivation to end the day. But
that was so funny.
The last thing I want to ask is if you could sum up what is the impression you want to have on the world with your music, with your songwriting? If you could sum it up in like one phrase or one closing ending sentence. I know that's a very difficult ask. Give it to me right now.
Oh my God.
Putting her on the spot here.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't know. I just like wow. How can I just sum all that of everything that I just said into one?
In one or two sentences, what's the impression you want to have with your music?
Impression?
Yeah. The impact, the impression, and what do you want to do with your music?
I just like I said, my goal with like the projects I put out is about giving you all an experience. I want you guys to feel like you are involved in a way. Like,
I like that.
Like you're watching, like Machine, for example, in Dark Shadow, it's like you're watching a movie, you know? And like, think about it. Like when you watch certain scenes of like a movie or a show, the music gets to you, the song choice will get to you of like a certain emotional part and such. So that's like pretty much like my goal. I want to give you guys that experience with my songs and you know, I hope to like make you guys think like, okay, wow, like she's able to do it with everything that she's been through. Maybe I can do this too, whether it's music or anything. Like, just like I said, fight for your dreams.
See, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, a little bit. It's been tough. Oh, P.S. because he's gonna get mad at me if I don't say his name. The professor that told me to go on LinkedIn, his name is Peter McLaughlin. So, shout out, Peter.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got some shout outs. And we're going to end on this note. Jehan, where can our audience find you? Social media links, YouTube channels, Spotify's, Apple, iTunes, wherever your music is.
Yeah.
Let them know where to find you.
My music is on all streaming platforms. And you can watch the music video, Jehan Machine, featuring Joey Diggs Jr. It's on YouTube. I'm on social media, Jehan Assria. That's my handle.
There we go.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Jehan, thank you so much for being here today. It was a lot of fun getting to know you on an even more personal level. Remember, guys, you got one shot at this. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Be accepting, be kind, be who you are at your core, and you're going to accomplish such incredible things in this world. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Impression Podcast. Thank you, Icon Industries, for this beautiful setup. Any more shout outs? Professors, anyone else?
Friends, family, I love you all. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I know I had a lot to say.
Hey, that's why you're here. That's why you're here. So, Jehan, thanks again. We will see you guys next week on the Impression Podcast.
Bye.
Good job.